Arsenal, a club so complete, so relentless, and so ruthlessly efficient that every rival fan, every pundit, every commentator secretly wants one thing: for them to lose. Not because Arsenal are weak, not because Arsenal are unpredictable, but because they have become the team everyone fears. The team whose victories feel inevitable. The team whose dominance is beginning to irritate people who aren't wearing red and white. And the funniest part? Every time Arsenal concede a single goal, the same predictable voices scream the same predictable lines. Arsenal won't win this match. This is the moment they collapse. They're going to bottle it like always. But then, week after week, game after game, month after month, Arsenal do what champions do. They silence the noise. They wrestle back control. They take the punches, absorb the pressure, stay calm, and then win anyway. And the clearest proof of that mentality came in their massive 2-0 victory over Brentford, a match that showed the entire league exactly why this Arsenal side might be entering their final season, where excuses, near misses, and progress are no longer acceptable, because they look ready, truly ready, to claim everything. That Brentford match wasn't simply 3 points. It was a statement of authority, a reminder that even when things aren't perfect, even when the lineup is stretched, even when the football isn't flashy, Arsenal still find a way. With both first-choice center-backs unavailable, you would expect some panic. You would expect defensive uncertainty. You would expect a shaky afternoon. But Arsenal didn't blink. Nketiah and Mosquera played like they'd been part of the starting 11 for years. David Raya produced one of the most outrageous reaction saves of the season. Ben White, stepping in with confidence, delivered the assist that broke the deadlock. Mikel Merino, a midfielder transformed into a goal-scoring machine, bagged a goal and an assist with the composure of a seasoned striker. And Saka, coming on from the bench, ended the game with a finish full of calm, precision, and authority. And while Arsenal were handling business with professionalism and maturity, Chelsea were collapsing again. Another defeat. Another frustrating performance, another moment where Arsenal's rivals fell apart while Arsenal quietly kept collecting points. But the narrative never changes. At Stamford Bridge, 1 week earlier, Arsenal conceded, and immediately the world acted like the sky was falling. Arsenal won't win. Chelsea are going to destroy them. Arsenal don't have the mentality to respond. Except Arsenal did respond. They controlled the second half. They refused to break. They fought their way back into the match. And then, instead of fading, they used that performance to go unbeaten for the entire week, drawing at Stamford Bridge, beating Bayern Munich, beating Spurs, and then beating Brentford. That's not the mentality of a fragile team. That's the mentality of a team that believes it is on the verge of something historic. But despite all of that, despite the clean sheets, despite the tactical superiority, despite the depth, despite the record, every time Arsenal let in one goal, rivals gather like vultures waiting for failure. It's because Arsenal have reached a level where their success irritates people, a level where perfection is expected, a level where dominance is resented, a level where the loudest wish of rival fans is simply to see Arsenal fall. But this Arsenal doesn't fall anymore. And that is exactly why this season feels different. Why this season feels like it might truly be the one. Because look at what Arsenal have become. Look at the depth. Players who could start for half the Premier League, sitting on the bench, waiting to come on as finishers instead of backups. Look at the structure. Look at the stability. Look at the defensive line that barely concedes even when rotated. Look at the midfield that suffocates every opponent. Look at the attack that can hurt teams from open play, on the break, or from set pieces. Look at the transformation under Arteta, a transformation built slowly, painfully, thoughtfully over years. There was once a time where Arsenal looked lost, confused, and broken, a team without an identity, without leadership, without direction. But Arteta rebuilt them brick by brick. He introduced his 5-phase plan. He brought in players who understood the system. He implemented patterns of play. He modernized the entire football structure, from press resistance to build-up patterns to inverted fullbacks. He insisted on discipline, he demanded consistency, he turned set pieces into a superpower. He turned the defense into a fortress. He turned the mentality into something that terrifies rivals. And piece by piece, Arsenal evolved from a team that collapsed under pressure into a team that applies pressure. From a side that lost leads into a side that defends them with arrogance. From a club hoping to compete into a club expected to dominate. And now look where they stand. 18 games unbeaten, conceding fewer goals than any other team in Europe, playing with calmness, composure, and confidence, controlling matches even when the football isn't perfect, surviving tough moments without losing themselves, grinding out results on difficult away days. winning tactical battles against top European giants, responding to setbacks with maturity. This is not the Arsenal of the past. This is not the Arsenal that self-destructed. This is not the Arsenal that ran out of gas in April. This is not the Arsenal that looked terrified of pressure. This is a different beast entirely. A machine built over seasons of heartbreak, near misses, late season collapses, lessons learned the hard way. They have the squad. They have the mentality. They have the consistency. They have the tactical fingerprint. They have the defensive strength that championship sides rely on. They have the depth to survive injuries. They have the ruthlessness in big moments. And they have something even more dangerous. Belief, not hope, not blind optimism, real belief. The belief that comes from beating Tottenham, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Brentford, Spurs, Brighton, and Newcastle, all in the same stretch. The belief that comes from defending with the best structure in the league. The belief that comes from scoring goals through rehearsed patterns, not random moments. The belief that comes from substitutes, changing matches instead of slowing them down. The belief that comes from every player knowing exactly what their role is. The belief that comes from knowing the biggest enemy now isn't Manchester City, isn't Liverpool, isn't Chelsea, it's themselves. Because truly, the only team capable of stopping Arsenal this season is Arsenal. And they know it. They've heard the noise for years. Trust the process. They're too young. They're too emotional. They're too inconsistent. They don't have the squad depth. They don't have the mental strength. Those excuses are gone. Those days are gone. This season isn't about trusting the process anymore. This season is about finishing it. This season is about cashing in the years of growth, discipline, and pain. This season is about arriving not as underdogs, not as dark horses, but as the team everyone else is terrified of facing. This season is about proving that all the criticism, all the doubt, all the disrespect was fuel, not destruction. And that is why people want Arsenal to lose. Because they can feel what's coming. They sense that this might truly be the last season before Arsenal climb the mountain and refuse to come down. They see the organization, they see the maturity, they see the clean sheets, they see the control, they see the fitness, they see the tactical flexibility, they see the relentless hunger, they see the inevitability creeping in. And that's why every goal conceded sparks noise. It's desperation, it's hope, it's fear. Because deep down, rival fans know what Arsenal fans can already feel. The door's open, the squad is complete, the mentality is hardened, and the league table is begging for a new champion. They know this might finally be the season Arsenal win it. And that is exactly why Arsenal are the club everyone wants to see lose. But this time, this Arsenal is built to win. And the truth is simple. Arsenal have run out of excuses. For years they were the project, the promise, the potential. They were the team everyone said maybe next year about. The team that came close but fell just short. The team whose progress was admired, but whose trophy cabinet remained empty. But that era is over. This season is not about learning. This season is not about gaining experience. This season is not about development. This season is about delivery. Arsenal have built the squad. They have built the mentality. They have built the tactical identity. They have built the foundation. They have built the depth every champion needs. They have built a structure where one injury does not collapse the entire system. They have built a machine where 18-game unbeaten runs feel normal, not surprising. They have reached the point where anything less than a title will feel like a failure, not because of pressure, but because of capability. And everyone sees it. Rival fans feel it in their stomachs, pundits feel it in their voices, managers feel it in their game plans. The Premier League feels it in the table. Europe feels it every time Arsenal dominate a Champions League night. The fear is real. Because when Arsenal step on the pitch, they don't look like a team trying to survive. They look like a team ready to conquer. And this is why every single time they concede, every time they slip, every time they look vulnerable, for even 10 seconds, the football world erupts with hope. Not because they expect Arsenal to collapse, but because they need them to. They need Arsenal to be weaker than they look. They need Arsenal to doubt themselves. They need Arsenal to crumble under pressure. Because if Arsenal don't crumble now, then when? If not this season, then when? Because the squad is complete. The system is perfected. The players are in their peak years. The manager has mastered his ideas. The club has learned from every mistake. This is the moment Arsenal have been building toward since the day Arteta walked in and found a broken dressing room, a confused team, an identity crisis, and a fan base desperate for belief. And now that belief is back. Not as blind faith, not as romantic hope, but as a cold, sharp, undeniable expectation. Arsenal are no longer the hunters. They are the hunted. And that pressure is exactly what champions must learn to carry. This is the season where Arsenal must stop being nearly men and become winners. This is the season where they must stop proving themselves and start collecting trophies. This is the season where excuses become irrelevant. This is the season where all the growth, all the pain, all the rebuilding, all the tactical evolution, all the squad depth, all the discipline has to mean something. Because Arsenal have reached the point where they are not just competing for titles, they are expected to. The Brentford win proved it. The Chelsea draw proved it. The Bayern Munich win proved it. The Spurs match proved it. The 18-game unbeaten run proved it. The clean sheets proved it. The bench depth proved it. The control in tough matches proved it. The maturity in pressure moments proved it. The fear they've put into rivals proved it. Arsenal have gone from a club people mocked to a club people fear, to a club people want to see fail, because they know this might be the last time to stop them before glory becomes routine. Rivals don't want Arsenal to win this league, because they know exactly what happens if they do. If Arsenal lift this title, they won't stop at one. They will build a dynasty. They will become a machine that grows stronger each season. They will become the standard everyone else must chase. They will become the team that defines an era. And deep down, that's the real fear. Not that Arsenal might win this season, but that Arsenal might win this season and then refuse to stop winning. That is why they are the club everyone wants to see lose. That is why every conceded goal becomes a celebration for rivals. That is why every bad half creates noise. That is why Arsenal are judged more harshly than any other team in the league. Because everyone knows the truth. Arsenal are too close now, too complete, too prepared, too evolved, too strong, too hungry, too balanced, too mature, too consistent. And if they win this season, the Premier League changes forever. That is why this might truly be their final season to miss out. Their final season before dominance begins. Their final season where doubt has any power. Their final season before the process becomes the product. Before the promise becomes the era. Arsenal have been climbing for years, and now they stand at the top of the mountain with the trophy finally within reach. They are the club everyone wants to see lose. Because they are one season away from becoming the club nobody can stop. And this time, they look ready to finish the job. Because when you watch this Arsenal team now, when you see the way they defend, the way they control possession, the way they stay calm under pressure, the way they rise whenever the moment demands, you realize something simple but terrifying for every other club in England. This version of Arsenal is not built on momentum or luck or surprise. This version of Arsenal is built on structure, on identity, on repetition, on detail, on tactical clarity, on elite coaching, and on a squad so deep that even their second choices are better than most teams' starters. Every movement is rehearsed, every press is coordinated, every player knows their role, every substitution strengthens the side instead of weakening it. Arsenal have turned the Premier League into a test of who can handle intensity for 90 minutes without making a single mistake, and the truth is almost no one can. That is why teams celebrate winning corners against them like scoring goals. That is why rivals cling to every half chance. That is why they pray Arsenal concede early. Because they know that once Arsenal settle, once Arsenal control the rhythm, once the machine starts moving in sync, the game is already slipping away. And that is why this season feels like a tipping point. Because Arsenal are no longer learning how to win. They are playing like a team that expects to win. They are playing like a team that knows the league is theirs to take. They are playing like a team whose standards are higher than the expectations of anyone outside the club. They have reached the level where dropping points feels shocking, not normal. They have reached the level where, even on a bad day, they still look too strong, too structured, too complete to lose. And that's what champions look like before the trophy arrives. This Arsenal team is no longer a dream, a project, or a hope. They are a force. They are a statement. They are a warning to the entire league. You can doubt them. You can hate them. You can celebrate every conceded goal like it's a victory. But deep down, everyone understands exactly what's happening. Arsenal are rising, Arsenal are ready, and Arsenal are closer than ever to turning years of hard work into the success that has been building beneath the surface all this time. And that's why this season feels different. This might truly be the moment where all the frustration, all the pain, all the growth, all the learning finally transforms into something unforgettable. Whether rivals like it or not, Arsenal stand one step from greatness, and once they take that step, there may be no stopping them again. If you believe in this journey, if you feel the momentum, if you're ready for what could be a historic season, make sure you subscribe right now, because this story is far from over, and you don't want to miss what comes next.